Over the past 4 weeks, we have covered mindset, physical health, community, and productivity, all making up our 4 pillars. This is what we have come up with as a way to have full body and mind wellness and how you can have the best day. So today, let's talk about community, how to ask for help when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So this is somebody who asks for support, who values the idea of leaning on others and vice versa. Sometimes I feel like I am admitting defeat if I ask for help, but that's really not the case. Just like any habit, the more you start doing it, the easier it becomes. We want to help make building habits fun for you, something that is enjoyable and brings you great satisfaction in your life. Don't forget, our newsletter is a one-stop shop for all of these tips. I get it, you are busy. You do not have time to be reading through this and that and looking up this and that. That's why I put it all in one spot for you, the newsletter. Newsletter is where you can get all of it packaged in one nice, neat little place so that I can save you some time with your habit making. Habit makers, and welcome to another episode of Habit Maker Mom and YouTube. I'm so happy you're joining us today because we are going to be sharing all about our community pillar. If you'll recall, we're working on a 4-part series introducing the pillars of what make us feel complete. So we've covered so far mindset, physical health, and last week we did productivity. So today, let's talk about community. For today's habit, we'll be discussing how you can ask for help when you're feeling overwhelmed. This is a habit that I am very much still working on, something that I do not have down pat, but that I think is so important for honestly everybody. But in particular, as a mom, asking for help is a big deal and something that you should try to adopt more. When you're thinking about building a habit, you want to consider what type of person does this habit? What identity defines this habit? So when you're thinking about the idea of community and asking for help, really somebody who gets in the habit of this is someone who values support, values the idea of both leaning on others and helping others in return. So this is somebody who asks for support, who values the idea of leaning on others and vice versa. I've been fortunate enough in my life to have many communities that I value. As a military spouse, I've found support in the military community. As somebody who previously worked, I had community through my coworkers. I've always been into athletics, and so I found support through various athletic groups or teams and things like this. But I will admit that I am not the best at asking for help. This is a habit that I always have to work on. Sometimes I feel like I am admitting defeat if I haven't asked for help and if I ask for help, but that's really not the case. The case is that it just means you need somebody to lean on. You need to say, hey, I need a little bit of help to get through a tough situation. So let me give you an instance where this has been a big part of my life. When we first had my son, my oldest son, we were part of a very tight military community. This community always supported new mothers. This community brought meals, asked for any sort of babysitting assistance, things like this. Without leaning on this community, I would have had a really difficult time adjusting to that new mom phase. And really, I had to get used to asking some of my close friends within this group and saying, hey, can I use you just for an hour to help so that I can go to the grocery store? Would you be willing to watch my son? Things like this. Something that has taken practice. Just like any habit, the more you start doing it, the easier it becomes. I was fortunate in that this military community was built in because this was part of my husband's job and we were given this community. But I know it can be difficult to find community. Say you've moved somewhere new and you feel like, who do I lean on for support? Think of some activities that you enjoy. So if you are into athletics, maybe you join a team or some sort of a group, like a running group. If you love reading, maybe you find a club, a book club that you can get to know the other moms or women within this group. If you are really into sewing, maybe you find a sewing group. Whatever it is, find something that you enjoy so that you can already relate to these people on that level. And also, just think about the fact that you're a mom, you're a woman, you can relate on just that level and start from there. The first step for asking for help is coming up with a plan, being very intentional about how you can ask for help. So think about a community that you might be a part of. Maybe this is your neighborhood, maybe this is a mom's group, maybe this is an athletic group. And start practicing with, I will ask for help in my book club. I will ask for help in my neighborhood. When you want to build the habit of asking for help, the first thing is to be really intentional. So think about the times when you really feel that you need help. So are you feeling overwhelmed? Do you have a lot of things on your plate? Is it that you just would like a little bit of break from all of the duties that you have? So that's your first start, is when do you feel that you need to ask for help? So when I am feeling overwhelmed, I will text a friend. So make sure you have your action in there. Either text a friend, send an online note, some sort of way that you're reaching out. And then I will ask them for some help. So I will say, when I am feeling overwhelmed, I will text a friend and see if they can come over for a coffee. Something like that. The habit loop incorporates your whole plan, the way that you can be intentional about creating and cultivating this habit. I have some very close people in my life that I'm fortunate to call both friends and family. And these are people that I feel it is easiest for me to ask and reach out for help. So I have a good friend who I'm so grateful lives close by, and when I'm having a difficult time or I'm feeling overwhelmed, I send her a message and say, the kids are really overwhelming right now. I need a break. I just want a few minutes to myself. And she will come over, bring coffee, bring brunch, whatever it is, so that we can have a few minutes. Even if it doesn't mean the circumstance that I can get away from the house for a few minutes, it's still just the act of reaching out that is really helpful in my mindset and building my community. It's important to take small steps when you're starting your habit. So it can be really daunting to just say, I'm going to ask for help, and every single time I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to do this, because the truth is it's not really easy to ask for help. So create a really small segue to help you build this habit. So, for example, start by just sending a friend a text. Start by reaching out on an online community. There are so many online communities. You can always find Habit Maker Mama on Instagram and Facebook. You can always reach out to so many different happy hours, women groups, mom groups, anything, and just say, I'm feeling overwhelmed today. Can somebody give me a high five online? And I guarantee you, you will be flooded with support, because people want to help. People want to support you. The first step is really just sending some sort of a white flag of help me out here. So I can recall a specific instance when I was posting on my Instagram stories, and I said something to the effect of, I'm feeling a little bit lonely today. My husband is a pilot, he travels a bunch, and so I find myself with kids for a decent amount of time, and people flooded my inbox with, hey, I'm really sorry that you're feeling lonely, or this is what I do, reach out to a friend, do this, do that, and it helped me so much just to know that people cared in some regard. So try that too. It doesn't even have to be a huge big thing. Just send a little message, post on a story, something that says that you need a little bit of help. It really helped me, and I think it could probably help you too. If you're on Instagram, head over to @HabitMakerMama so that you can stay up to date on our daily tips. I offer some stories and a little bit of insight into how I'm working on my habits, and I also like to get feedback from you on what you're doing too. My joy to keep us all connected in our habit making. Make sure that you build a positive association with asking for help. So what you can do is make it a fun event. If your friend can bring you coffee, if you can make the event a walk in your neighborhood, something that brings you a feeling of joy when you're asking for help. Instead of feeling like it's a difficult hardship for you, try and build the habit of using a fun reward to help with the positive association that you have. I have a few really good friends that live near me, and we love to go walking on our mom time. So a couple of us will get together, we'll just walk around the neighborhood, chat. It feels like a break for us because the kids are in the stroller and they're contained, and we are having our time together. So whether that's with kids or not, however you want to do that, it just is really important to to enjoy the community aspect of the event that you're doing together. If you can get outside and enjoy a little bit of sunlight and get some vitamin D while you're at it, it's a great way to improve your mood. I certainly know that if I've been cooped up and if the kids have been cooped up all day, we tend to get a little bit cranky and a little bit ready to do something else by the end of the day. So just some point, try and get outside. I know that's not always weather permitting, but even if you're just sticking your head out for just a couple of minutes so that you can feel some of the sunlight or just atmosphere around you, that's certainly a great way to improve your mood. Find ways that you can stack some of your habits together. So asking for help, maybe you would enjoy going for a walk or having a cup of coffee while you are hanging out with your friend or joining in your community. I know sometimes it's not always possible to do an activity when you're asking for help, but if you're able to do that, that's certainly a nice way to do a few things at once. The walking is good for your body, good for your mind, and the asking for help and being with a friend is best for your community. I know sometimes life can be really busy and you maybe don't have time within the confines of your work schedule or whatever else you might be doing to have the flexibility to meet a friend for coffee or a walk, whatever it might be. So for example, if you work, perhaps you can go down to the cafeteria together and just chat over your 10-minute lunch. Or perhaps you can take a very adjusted 10-minute break from work and you talk together at the cubicles. Something that is distracting from the work that you're doing, but still allowing you to really enjoy the community and give yourself a mental break, which is like asking for help. Combining the joy of talking with a friend and asking for help at the same time, putting these two together. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Habit Maker Mama today. We covered how to ask for help when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I know it's not easy and sometimes it can just feel daunting to ask for help just in the first place. But remember to start small, take baby steps, even if that just means sending a message online or texting somebody. It doesn't have to be a big grand gesture, just something to help you practice it. I know as both a busy woman and a busy mom, it's vital to my mental health and to building my community that I ask for some help sometimes. And trust me, people want to help you, so there's nothing wrong with it. Don't feel like it's a hardship or something that people are burdened by. This is people want to be there for you. So over the past 4 weeks, we have covered mindset, physical health, community, and productivity, all making up our 4 pillars. This is what we have come up with as a way to have full body and mind wellness and how you can have the best day. We want to help make building habits fun for you, something that is enjoyable and brings you great satisfaction in your life. We want to help you improve yourself and for you to have fun while doing it. We hope that you'll tune in next week. Guess what? We're going to be covering The Power of Habit. This is a goldmine book. There are so many nuggets in it that help us with habit building. It has really touched on the foundations and the principles for building habits. So if you're not able to read along with us, don't worry. We're going to summarize it for you and get you all up to speed. I know you're busy and you may not have time for it, so we're doing it for you. To help any of the